Hey there, folks, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving right into Practice Exam 2 for the Burp Suite Certified Practitioner in Web Security Academy, proudly brought to you by Portswigger. But before we get started, here's a little sneak peek. We'll be covering some exciting topics, including cross-site scripting, XSS, SQL injection, and insecure deserialization. So, make sure you stick around for the juicy details. No need to worry about App 1 up there, folks, because the solution for it is actually different from the other one. However, please do me a favor and shout out if you spot App 2 up there. Now, it's time to fire up the DOM Invader. To make those fresh settings kick in, we're gonna hit that good old refresh button and give our page a little reboot. Now, let's bring up the developer tools right from the browser bundled with the Burp Suite Professional. Ready? Grab that canary, copy it, and let's slap it into the search field for the blog. We're on our way. Alright, here's the deal. Once we've got ourselves a sync in our sites, we can simply click on that link to the stack trace on the right-hand side. Lo and behold, it'll take us straight to the search results, JS file, right at line 5. And guess what? Our old buddy, the eval function, is right there waiting for us. Time to spruce things up a bit. First, let's freshen up our target scope and make sure we've turned off logging for out-of-scope traffic. That's gonna give our HTTP history tab a much-needed makeover. Now, a speedy search using our trusty canary should get us right back to our HTTP history in Burp. Voila, there it is. Check it out, folks. Our canary has been detected right there in the response text when we hit up the search_results endpoint. Now, remember how we talked about the response text being processed by that eval function in the search results JS file earlier? Well, here's where the magic happens. In this scenario, we're going to give a payload a shot to trigger our favorite pop-up. But, as you can clearly see, things aren't going quite as planned. It seems there's a filter in place for those tricky, dangerous search terms. Now the real question is, which part of our payload is causing all the trouble? Perhaps we should give the trusty print function a whirl. Oh, but it's a no-go as well. It looks like both alert and print words aren't setting off any alarm bells with the filter. So, it seems the issue lies with those pesky parentheses. Just as we suspected. It's time to call in some reinforcements from our trusty cross-site scripting cheat sheet. We need that special payload to lend us a hand with those pesky restricted parentheses. In JavaScript, backticks are used to define template literals, also known as template strings. Template literals are a way to create strings that allow for easy embedding of variables and expressions. In short, we can swap out those troublesome parentheses with backticks. So, let's make a slight tweak to our payload, ensuring it snugly fits into the response text and gets processed by the eval function. And, just like that, our pop-up is up and running. But here's the catch: the document cookie is being treated as a string literal, and that's not exactly a piece of cake for us when it comes to snatching cookies from other users. So, let's roll up our sleeves and dig into some alternatives. So, with this slick payload that doesn't require any spaces or parentheses, let's put it to the test and see if we can summon our favorite pop-up once more. Now, some of you might be scratching your heads, wondering why we're using this lengthy payload with functions and all, instead of the simpler ones that just trigger a pop-up. Well, here's the scoop: it's all about that pesky, invalid left-hand side in assignment error. My hunch is that it's tied to the equals sign, especially since there's another equals sign lurking in that eval function. This extensive payload, believe it or not, does the trick. It not only enables a redirection to our exploit server but also opens up the potential for us to transmit those pilfered cookies right into our waiting hands. Now, it's time to roll up our sleeves and craft a script. This script will work its magic by initiating a redirection to the vulnerable website, armed with our trusty XSS payload. And guess what? That redirection will then whisk our unsuspecting victim over to our exploit server, cookies and all. Our session cookie has made a special appearance in the access log during our local testing of the prepared exploit. Now, all that's left to do is serve it up to the unsuspecting victim, and voila, we've got ourselves that shiny cookie straight from our victim. Time to whip up a nifty session handling rule here. This rule will work its magic by setting the session cookie to the value we've snatched from our unsuspecting victim. Once we've got that cookie in our jar, it's like we've got a golden ticket. We'll be authenticated and have access to all the resources that our buddy Carlos can get his hands on. Ah, Carlos, our old pal, back in the spotlight. It appears that this advanced search feature is a well-guarded secret, only accessible once we've donned the identity of Carlos through authentication. But you know what they say, the deeper the dive, the juicier the secrets we uncover. So, let's roll up our sleeves and kick things off with an active scan on that particular request. Here's a nifty trick: fire off that request over to the intruder, and then, we're going to roll up our sleeves and define the insertion points for each request parameter. Once those are locked in, it's game on, and we can start scanning those carefully defined insertion points. Guess what, folks? We've just stumbled upon a potential SQL injection vulnerability, and it's lurking right there in the order parameter. The telltale sign? Well, we're seeing this unterminated string literal started at position 34 in SQL select from posts order by 5ASC. That's not what the SQL doctor ordered, folks. Time to unleash the SQL map, and here's a little spoiler for you: we're about to dive deep into the nitty-gritty of databases. We'll be extracting names of databases, tables, columns, and even some juicy content from a particularly interesting table.
Sometimes like all you want to do is run. 29 and I find myself wondering what did happen to the last 10. I ran away with my life, fast forward, never turn back again. It's kind of funny that the more we pass time, the more we need to set the rewind. And 19 was the year I had to leave you, but now I'm seeing all the signs. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours again. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 get something from nothing. I sit here looking for an answer. Maybe the biggest question was in the last chapter. You gave me the soul I have today. Without you I never could have moved away. But now I see what you teach. I do believe I always should have stayed. Yeah. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours again. One day I'll be yours. One day I'll be yours. I'll be yours. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 get something from nothing. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 get something from nothing. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 get something from nothing. Life changes just open the door. One thing's certain, I'll always be yours. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours. Yeah. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you.
First things first, let's turn off that session handling rule we had in place, the one that was letting us masquerade as Carlos. With that out of the way, it's time to don our administrator cap and log in using the password we snatched from the users table in the public database. Now that we've got access to the admin panel, take a look at this. There's an intriguing cookie called admin prefs lurking within the request. It seems like it's wrapped up in some pretty heavy encoding. Just as we suspected, folks, it's a serialized Java object, and it always kicks off with the same telltale bytes. These bytes are encoded as ACED in hexadecimal. When it comes to pre-built gadget chains for Java object deserialization, one of my all-time favorites has got to be YSO serial. But here's the thing, for the newer versions of Java, we'll need a specific series of command line arguments to get YSO serial up and running. So, let's kick things off by exploring Common Collections 1 or Common Collections 2. Well, it seems like we're hitting a bit of a roadblock with Common Collections 1. No worries, though, let's pivot and grab the one from Common Collections 2. This little package is an encoded Java serialized object with a nifty command baked right in, one that will make an HTTP request straight to our trusty exploit server. Don't forget this crucial step, folks. Just hit Ctrl-U to URL encode the value for that admin prefs cookie. Now that we've got that request heading over to our trusty exploit server, it's time to fire up the burp collaborator server. We're going to need it for exfiltrating the content from the home Carlos secret file. Now that we've successfully exfiltrated the solution, we can officially say that Practice Exam 2 is a wrap. Great job, everyone!